question for you is, you enjoyed the cam, it was a bit healing for you, and it's more of being an exhibitionist. When did you realize you were an exhibitionist? Because I don't think it was when you decided to go live on the cam. It was something way before that.
I don't know. I just think this knowing I want my voice out there.
Yeah.
Even if it is my body speaking.
Body language is a thing.
It is a body language. I mean, it goes back to like your love language. You know, for me, it's active services. No, it's not active services. I give active services because it's, I felt like if I can for you, I'm giving you a service.
One of me bringing this up is my son, maybe 2 years ago, he got in trouble at school. This is when they just came back and they all have Chromebooks, and he's searching woman with boobs, and like the school tracks all this shit. And so they got called in the office, and he's like, oh, well, he's looking for pictures. And I'm like, of course, he's 14 now, so this is probably when he was 12. So he's like, it's a 12-year-old kid. Like, what kid's like not looking for boobs like at 12 years old, right? So his mom the situation, but I thought to myself, I'm like, you know what? I actually just literally thought this the other day. If either one of my boys, or my girls, but more my boys, if they were like, you know, getting into porn and stuff like that, I would take them down to Laguna. I'd be like, look, you know what? You're searching for something because it's taboo, it's restricted, you can't have it, people tell you it's bad, and so you want what you can't have. I'm like, let me just come and show you what real people look like, and it's not sexual. Because at least for me, that was very healing for me.
That's the part that's creepy. It's like, this town is so small, people do talk, but then you realize no one really recognizes you. Like, there's times where I'm just kind of like, oh, I hope nobody sees me because I really don't want him to see me. You know, I avoid certain parts of town because I don't want to be seen. But at the same time, it's
guess what? You're being seen right now.
Hi.
Introducing the ToplessTalk podcast, where we're diving deep into the world of sex and relationships. Join us as we explore the good, the bad, and the ugly, leaving no topic off limits. With your host, Ryan Nickel, we're on a mission to change 1 million lives through 1,000 episodes. In a world where vulnerability is power, we're not just talking about taking off layers, we're peeling back the layers of real experiences. Our guests, brave women who've walked through the fire, are bearing it all. Their struggles, triumphs, and everything in between. It's more than just stories. It's a roadmap for those who felt alone in their journeys. By sharing their transformation from the horrific to the heroic, these women become beacons of hope for others. Because in every tale of survival lies the potential for someone else's revival. So tune in, listen closely, and remember, ToplessTalk isn't just about shedding inhibitions. It's about finding connection in the rawness of human connection. Because when we share, we heal, we empower, and we transform. Welcome to a podcast where every story is a step towards 1 million changed lives.
Well, that's the thing. So the point of me bringing this up is my son, maybe 2 years ago, he got in trouble at school. This is when they just came back and they all have Chromebooks, and he's searching woman with boobs, and like the school tracks all this shit. And so they got called in the office, and he's like, oh, well, he's looking for pictures. And I'm like, of course, he's like, he's 14 now, so this is probably when he was 12. So he's like, it's a 12-year-old kid. Like, what kid's like not looking for boobs like at 12 years old, right? And so his mom handled this situation, but I thought to myself, I'm like, you know what? I actually just literally thought this the other day. If either one of my boys, or my girls, but more my boys, if they were like, you know, getting into porn and stuff like that, I would take them down to Laguna. I'd be like, look, you know what? You're searching for something because it's taboo, it's restricted, you can't have it, people tell you it's bad, and so you want what you can't have. I'm like, let me just come and show you what real people look like, and it's not sexual. Because at least for me, that was very healing for me.
But again,
to be able to be exposed to a world and be like,
think your kid's mom would go for that?
I don't fucking care.
Well, let me ask you this.
I'll tell you why.
Do you think it's easier for you to talk to your son about it because he is the same sex, or do you think that subject would be easier for your daughter to hear it from you still? Because I think some subjects are meant to be mom, daughter, son, father.
So my daughter asked me, so I took my daughter to get a new phone on Sunday, and she brought this up. She's like, Dad, did you cheat on Mom?
Oh, wow.
And I said, well, yes and no. She's like, well, what do you mean? I said, well, technically I was married, having sex with a lot of women until we were actually divorced. She's like, no, but when we were with her, did you actually cheat on her? And I said, The night that her and I decided to split, I went and a girl got drunk and we had sex. And she's like, okay, but when we were actually together, did you ever cheat on her? I was like, no, I actually did not. I never cheated on her. But the night that we decided we were going to split, I did.
You think it's a conversation she figured out on her own, or you think that's being fed?
No, I said, she goes, oh, okay, because my middle child read it in my book. She goes, oh, so-and-so read this in your book. And she said, did you know that dad cheated on mom? And I'm like, oh, that's a conversation I need to have one-on-one with my daughter now.
Yeah.
And I need to let her express all of the feelings, all of the frustration, all of the anger that she has towards me because she thinks that I did cheat on her mom. And technically I did.
But that's a good subject to bring up because, again, same thing with me. Like, I'm almost at that age where she's 18 where I can bring up what happened in court. I can now be released from the
burden of holding it back.
Holding back.
Yeah.
Like I said, I left her father at 2.5 years old. So I've been holding years of anger and modesty of everything that happened, why I left him, and she'll sit there, she's like, well, dad told me this, and I'm just like, I can't talk about it. Court protected me. Now I'm like, and she's getting closer, and she's starting to talk more. Like, she even asked me the other day, we were pulling the pork and the chicken for the reunion. She's like, if I got pregnant right now, what would you say? What would be your one thing you could return if you could get pregnant again? What would you have done differently with me to something else? And it was just, I'm like, where the hell is this coming from?
Does she still have that boyfriend in Idaho?
No. So that guy been gone, long gone. She's actually, well, she went from thinking she was trans to being a lesbian to dating a guy long distance to breaking up with him to dating another guy that was long distance back to a guy that she had a bunch of crushes here locally to never dating.
Is she long distance like her mom?
I think she is, and that's where I'm like, proud moment, high five.
But I mean, conversation.
Would you ask her?
Yeah.
She probably would tell. She's told me she sent pictures of her boobs, like a low cut shot like this.
She's probably downplaying. She's probably downplaying.
Oh, I know
what
she's downplaying, but then I'm like, and she's like, well, we've kind of, Tristan, the guy, and she's like, well, Tristan's always wanted me to like play and show him my stomach, and I'm just not ready for that. And I was like, that's fine. And like,
because in order to see the stomach, like a little bit higher. We all know the game.
And he wants a little lower, and she wants a little higher. Like, they're teenagers. So again, I expect.
Well, she's 17, right?
She's now 17.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I feel better. And this was happening when she was 16, 15. So I'm like,
well, I mean, yeah, I totally get it.
But again, it's like, that's where I said those certain subjects, like if she went to her father about these subjects, I'd be like, oh my God, what is he going to say to her?
Well, going back to my daughter, so she asked me the question, she's like, hey, like, side note, she's like, my friend's going to offer me some edibles this summer. How many should I take? I said, a half. If you're going to do anything, take a half.
Wow.
She's like, what? She's like, really? I was like, yeah. I'm like, obviously she's telling me because she's going to do it. So she's already made the mind. If I tell her not to do it, she's going to do it.
Exactly.
So I'm like, if you're going to do it, take a half and see how you react. And she's like, okay, cool. She's like, my friends are already drinking, they're already doing drugs and stuff like that. And they are. I know who they are. And
living is so readily. I mean, it's more readily available and more accessible than
it is
ever been.
And she's with her boyfriend, and they've been doing things. And I'm like, cool, this is great. However, the very next day, she gets in the car, and my middle child, who said that dad had the affair or cheated on their mom, is having a fit because my oldest daughter is wearing this less than a bikini.
Oh my.
And she's like, you can't be wearing that to school. She's like, I'm wearing a jacket. Don't worry about it. Don't all this stuff. And I'm like, I need to have a conversation with my daughter. Mm-hmm. And actually, I'm going to today because she stood home from school today.
Interesting.
And so this is for an opportunity for me to have a conversation with her because she stood home because she's going through her menstrual cycle, and so whatever reason she's not feeling good, so she's staying home. But and I talked to her mom. I'm like, look, I don't control what she wears because I'm not there to help buy this stuff. You are. And she's like, well, I'm not always there when she buys it, but I'll have a conversation with her. I'm like, no, I actually need to have a conversation with her because she needs to know from a male's perspective what her body does to a male when he sees her with big boobs and almost next to nothing.
Exactly. And I think that's where, again,
that's the conversation as a father that I need to have with her.
And I think it's important for a father to have those conversations with her.
Yeah.
Where I'm on the opposite end, my daughter, if she was in here, she'd have long sleeves down and she's completely covered up, full jeans. She doesn't show any skin.
That's my other child.
And I'm just like,
complaining at her
I
sister.
don't have to worry about that with her, but I also worry about what people are saying behind her back because she is a bigger girl and she is someone who covers herself up. And I'm just like, oh, you know, and then I'm like, okay, wait until she's 18. But then...
Why wait?
But no, I'm like saying wait till she's 18 to see if her outfit will change.
It won't.
Because she is who she is, but she's so...
18's not going to change how she views herself.
Well, I've realized she's a lot like me. Like, I'm very, like, I cover myself up, you know, I don't...
Yeah.
Most, like, even right now, would you know I have 5 tattoos, you know? Until you see me naked, you don't see the other side of me. You see this. This is my normal. And so for me, I'm like, oh, that's good that she's covered up. I'm happy I don't have to worry about having that conversation with her.
You also have the dual lifestyle though. Like you have your kick. You still express yourself.
But I don't do it when I'm around her.
No.
I used to think, oh, it's not that big a deal. But now I'm like, oh. What if her friends see me? And that was the other thing. It's like, it goes back to the whole thing, me being in that cam world.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, I ran into a guy, again, met him on FET, and he was like, you look really familiar. And he's a local guy. And I'm like... Well,
Or it's a pickup line.
Well, that was the thing. That was exactly what I thought.
Rich
At
knows all
first, I was
lines.
like, okay, everybody says that.
I mean, it's a nice.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. I was like, and I'm definitely... At that time, I was very skinny with smaller boobs than I am now. Well, now I'm a 42D. At that time, I was a 32C. So I was like, okay, there is some difference on my boobs, but also more tattoos. The only tattoo I had was this one, so that was the obvious one. He's like, but you really do look familiar. And I'm like, but how would I know you? You're in Marysville. Like, I don't know you, you know. And everything. And more we talked, I found out he actually followed me when he was in the Army. When he was in Korea, he actually watched my camp shows.
Oh.
And I was like,
does he have a video? Does he have the recording on the one that we
no, I asked him, and everything. He's like, I know where.
That's a good memory. I mean, you're saying you started doing this, you know, Yahoo chat days, and this guy's still remembering.
Yeah,
that's a good visual memory.
Yeah,
it's good.
There's an impression
but
there
it's
for sure.
bad at the same time.
You made an impression.
I was like, holy crap.
Stalker.
And he goes, you made
He's like, I got
my
transfer the
Korea
deal just for
days
you.
so much easier. And I was like, thank you. You know, he's like, my deployment made it through because of you. And I was like,
He's like, I was trying to get down to McClellan, but you know.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. He's from up here. And so I'm like, what are the odds that you met someone,
How funny.
know someone locally to your hometown, but also from that and everything? He's like, yeah, if I could only go back to that.
But going back to your daughter, what if she knew that you expressed yourself in this way and that it's okay, there's no shame in doing that?
I told her now, since you and I have started becoming friends.
Do you think that she would be, well, I guess 2 questions. Do you think, one, that she would be okay maybe sharing more of her body? And 2, would you be okay if that was the result? Or are you just like, oh God, I'm glad she covers herself up?
I think because of her personality, she's afraid to show. And as I try to remind her, she's a bigger girl. It's okay. People see you beautiful as much as they see me beautiful. There's just certain guys.
There's different tastes and types. Yeah, for everything.
Everyone's got their likes. I mean, otherwise it'd be a very boring world.
Exactly. And I try to tell her that, and she's like, I know, but I think she's ashamed. Still have that shameness of, I don't want people to see me that way. And I'm just like, but why? And I'm like, well, you're a big girl like your dad. And she's like, I know, but...
It's just the unknown.
Yeah, society shames people that,
And that's exactly
what it is.
It's a shaming.
It's gotten a little bit better now. I mean, because now everyone, you know, you can identify with whatever you want.
It is,
so
but
I think it's starting to...
But kids are still kids. So like my daughter, my middle child is a little heavier. And so she goes through with it. And she always she's like, Dad, don't fat shame me. Because I'm like, hey, do you want something healthier? So she's already like, you know, I'm not fat shaming you, honey. I'm just wanting you to be healthy, you know?
But that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
They have the words behind these actions before. Like when we were going through school, we didn't have the words. So I think you and I talked about it one time. My daughter came to me and said, Mom, Dad's a narcissist. And I was like, no, he's not. No, he's not. I had to Google what a narcissist is because I had no idea what that word is. And she was 12 when she came to me when she said those words. And I'm just like, no, he's not. Looked it up. I'm like, oh, wow.
You know, textbook.
You're 12 and you know that word
Textbook.
and you understand the meaning of it and giving me examples behind it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They have Google now where they can look up anything like that, where you and I Expedia, we're going through the book, and it still didn't give us everything. We had everything 1D, not 5D. And
I mean,
Load your CD-ROM maybe if you were fortunate enough to have that.
your laser
or
disc.
you had the technology of understanding how to do that.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's difficult this day and age. I mean, God bless any parent that's out there raising their child that's going through difficulties with friends, peers, all of those things, because it's a whole new world these days. Like, it's not the same as when we were going to it.
No.
I mean, it was like very easy. Like, I mean, even when you decided to get on and do your first cam, videos, like even then, like that was a choice that was kind of like, frowned upon. But now people are like glorifying it, like, oh my God, yeah, high five, girl, hey, you own it, girl power. Like, go out and take your slice of the pie.
And that's exactly it. It's like, if I knew what I knew then, 14 years ago, to where I am now in my life, would I have done it? Probably.
You would.
You wouldn't have changed it, you're right.
I wouldn't have changed it, because that's just who I am.
You would have been lucky to get a podcast interview.
Oh God.
You'd be so popular and famous.
Seriously.
And,
Well, even like I look back at myself and I'm like, well, could I still be famous if I went back into it? Like, if I went back to that site, would I still have that still famous views? I don't think I would. I would have a different kind of following.
I don't think that's true at all.
You think it would be more?
Yes, and the reason why is because of the connection that you have with people.
True.
You're consistent and you connect with people and you treat them like they're not like just
it's more accepted.
An ATM.
It's more accepted now.
Well, it's more accepted.
Okay.
But I look at I haven't been on like Fansly and all that stuff in a while. The younger ones, all they're doing is they're clickbaiting to get you to OnlyFans. Just to have people subscribe, and then all they do is they have some bot or some person in the Philippines that pretends to be them and chats with these people that's like some like femboy. They're like, oh, you make me so horny and all these things, and it's not the real person. So they think they're talking to a person and they're not. Yeah. And so it's completely fake, and people recognize this is what's happening. Or where on the other side, if you're a real person and you're actually having a conversation with people on live chat rather than get them to go look at your pictures and subscribe to OnlyFans, you're actually creating a connection. And I think that's what's lost. And a lot of the younger generation don't have the gift to be able to do that. They don't have the attention span, they don't have the charisma, they don't have the just life experience to connect with people on a face-to-face level. And that's what's happening with this virtual thing is people they can't connect in the real world, and they also can't connect virtually as well. They have to do it all through chat. And it's not even really them.
So, and that's huge too.
You would own that in a very unique way, but I don't think that you mentioned the health issue too, and I think your husband wouldn't, and your daughter, you have restrictions. You can't do it at home. Are you homeschool or? No.
I still wouldn't do it at home.
Yeah, so you'd have to come to our studio here and do it. But if you were to do it,
have hourly rentals here.
We could do it. Yeah, we can get slice of the pie here.
Take a percentage.
That's why lights are still on. Yeah, but
service fee.
I think that's how that that would play out for you, is that you would be able to have that connection with people.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Hello, my name is Alice Lamana, and I was given an amazing food reading from Ryan last week. And it was the most amazing thing I've actually ever experienced.
I have to be honest, I thought at first it was just kind of this scam that was unique that this guy was running to be able to just see lots of on the internet. But it turned out to be actually pretty intuitive and accurate.
He was able to pick up on things that I've known about myself, but that I haven't voiced out loud to anybody.
He explained things that I didn't share with him, and the connections make sense to me. It helped me learn a little bit more about how my body stores energy that I'm experiencing.
I was shocked. Couldn't believe some of the things that he had said.
I would highly recommend Ryan.
Oh my gosh, I highly recommend it.
Try it. See what happens. See what you find out about yourself.
I just had a book reading with Ryan, and I want to highly recommend that you do also.
Now, back to our Topless Talk interview with Ryan Nickel.
Well, that's the thing, like, you've called it out, and even talking to other people through it. Like, I have a health coach, I have a physical therapist, I have a therapist, like all of, I have a lot of specialists, but I also have a lot that work on my own self-wise. And they're just always like, Anna, I'm so surprised for all you've gone through in your life, where you are at now. You just have such light behind it. And I'm just like, I do. But then I look back at myself.
It's a great compliment.
And it is a good compliment. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like I've learned my voice from the very early on when I was, I want to say 3.5, 4 years old. Was the second time I went into therapy. And one of the biggest things my therapist was always like, use your voice, use your voice, use your voice. Well, for me, I've always like, okay, use your voice. What does that mean? But now that I'm older, I'm like, that voice is important for anybody. And this is about any subject, from sex to non-sex. We need to speak up. We need to talk about the subjects that nobody wants to talk about. Because at the end of the day, who is?
Yeah.
Really, who is going to talk?
So, question for you is: you enjoyed the cam; it was a bit healing for you, and it's more of being an exhibitionist. When did you realize you were an exhibitionist? Because I don't think it was when you decided to go live on the cam. It was something way before that.
I don't know. I just think this knowing I want my voice out there.
Yeah.
Even if it is my body speaking.
Body language is a thing.
It is a body language. I mean, it goes back to like your love language. You know, for me, it's active services. No, it's not active services. I give active services because I felt like if I can masturbate for you, I'm giving you a service. You know, because you get gratification from it. But more than anything, it's just knowing I am me. I don't change me for other people. And you've seen me at my lows. You've seen me at my highs. I look the same. I don't change.
Yeah.
My appearance.
You're real.
For the sake of, oh, you're going to do this. You got to be this. You know, and even today I was like, I'm going to change what I'm wearing and everything. And I'm like, going, Anna, what would you have changed?
No, you're a mom. You came as a mom, and I wouldn't expect anything less. I'd be like, who are you?
Well, that was the thing. I was like, well, I'll wear like one of my dresses. I thought about wearing my dress. And I was like, no, because I'm not comfortable in my dress. I mean, I would be, but I wouldn't be comfortable.
That's all we want is just you to be comfortable.
And that's exactly it. And I was like, well, I'll change shirts. You know, I'll just.
And the reason why is because we want your voice.
Exactly.
If you're comfortable, your voice will come through.
And that's exactly it. And that's where I think, again, in that explanation side of it is just, I want to explore things. I want to see things. I want to feel things. I want to touch things. I use all my tactiles in my life just because that's who I am. But again, it's just the subject of sex alone is not taboo anymore in my vocabulary. It used to be. And that's where I think if my ex-husband got hold of this podcast, he'd be like, oh, that's not my ex-wife.
He's actually my editor, by the way.
He is your manager?
No, my editor. He edits all the videos.
I knew it.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that did sound believable when you said it, and I was just like, no.
No, my editor is actually in Pakistan. He's a fantastic man. It's so funny. I mean, you could find people
part-time editor, part-time, imitating the cam girls.
Yeah, that's what he does. Yeah, no.
He's the AI behind the
He's the bot.
He's actually, it's interesting because when I first connected with the guy, he told me he was Asian.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then he's like, oh, well, because he's Pakistani and his name is Hassan Muhammad or something like that. He's like, people just don't associate that name with good things. I'm like, dude, I don't care who you are or what you do.
Just tell me so I can write you a check correctly.
Do my videos.
Yeah, and he does a great job. I'm like, he's a fantastic. He's watching he'll be watching this when I do it because he listens to he edits everything out and that he doesn't need to be there. But yeah, no, he's a fantastic addition to what I do, and he makes sure that everything is smooth and clean. And but talk about perceptions though, like virtual perceptions. He was afraid that if he came, originally and told me who he was, like I wouldn't have cared. But I'm not everybody, and I don't know what his life experiences were, what he's gone through in order to feel the need to protect himself, to pretend to be Asian. But I mean, we got through all that. And he is who he is, and I love what he does. And if anyone needs a video editor, definitely recommend the guy.
But that's the thing, though. Again, it goes back to what we've been saying most of this conversation was what we went through when we were growing up to what we see now are so different. Even with 9/11 happening, he would probably be like, well, I can't say my name's Muhammad because they're going to think that I'm part of that.
Right.
Well, I don't think of that. That doesn't come into my mind.
My mechanic for the longest time name was Muhammad, and then 9/11 happened, and he turned his name to Mike. He could know Muhammad.
But again,
and he's in the Bay Area. I'm like, what's going to happen to the guy? They're going to bomb his shop or some shit like that,
But that's exactly it, though. Yeah. It's like we get stuck on these things that we're so we associate with certain things.
Right.
And for me, I'm just like, I am me. If you don't like me, then turn off the camera, come back another day. You know?
One of my favorite jokes, and we live in a Sikh community. We have so many different Sikhs here. Yes. You know, when 9/11 happened, you know, people were like all upset and they're outrageous with like all the Sikhs and stuff like that. And like they went to like, you know, protest their stores and whatnot, and they like started like going into 7-Eleven and they're like, no, we're not 9/11 people. We are 7-Eleven people. 7-Eleven. So I've always thought that was like the best joke. It's like some comedian like said that. I'm like, that's the funniest shit I've ever heard. You know, it's like.
Well, it goes back off to that. Is we were coming back from Illinois, one of our trips coming home and stuff, and again we have a high population of Sikh. Like we're the minority in this area.
They're beautiful people, yeah.
You know, and so we were walking into a convenience store. It wasn't a 7-Eleven, but it was a convenience store. And this guy goes, "Can I help you?" And I sit there and I was like, and for 5 minutes, I went around the store, looked around, grabbed what I needed, and I handed it to James, and he paid, and I went back to the car.
Yeah.
Got back in the car. I was like, I'm gonna sound so right now. He's like, what? I said, there's Sikhs outside of Yuba City.
Oh,
He
God.
goes, and
They're everywhere. Yeah.
everywhere. I'm like, but we're in the middle of the Midwest.
Oh, yeah.
Cornfield Midwest. And here's a Sikh out in the middle of the corn.
Who owns a convenience store? Talk about stereotypes, right? Yeah, I know.
And he's like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I didn't think they knew what farming out here. He goes, what is our area? And
I need to ask you a question.
Yes.
And this goes for you too, Rich. So, when we're talking about Sikhs and stuff like that. So, in all of my experience, which is not much, I don't want to like brag or anything like that, but in all of like the healing, I think maybe I've done maybe 1 or 2 readings, but healing work, and then the women that I have slept with over the years, I have never once ever slept with an Indian or a Sikh or anything like that. I've done every other, like I've done black, I've done Mexican, like Chinese, Asian, whatever, but never. Have either of you, being Caucasian yourselves, experienced that as far as like, you know, partners or?
I'll let Rich answer first.
Never. So never for healing. I've connected with them. It just never goes anywhere. And I'm just like, do they have a thing against white people?
No, because I was with.
Good. All right, here it comes. Yeah,
I hope
That's why I
I've never had the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I would.
I had a feeling it was going to be a no based off of your expression, but yes, my very first, very first female male, was with a white cowboy.
Okay.
With the biggest in the world.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the last one, huh?
It was like a soda can. He really was that around.
Damn.
And he was tall. And then
in the Midwest. Right. You're like, there's 6 out here. Oh my God! Yeah, find me one.
No, in Wheatland.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then a Sikh guy, and his.
Wait, there are 2 guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was his nickname was Aladdin. He was from here.
Aladdin. Fuck.
So if he's watching, I'm gonna be like, I'm sorry for calling you out. The last time I saw him was at
That's India. That's Aladdin came from like the Middle East, like.
But he was.
It's like saying the last guy's name was Carr. I mean, that narrows it down to like 100,000 people.
I know, right? Yeah.
So
it's like Smith for white people.
Yeah. He was. His nickname was Aladdin, and everything. He wore a white Honda Accord, I think it was, tinted windows, like totally decked out Sikh.
Yeah.
Didn't know any Sikhs at this time. I didn't even know if that was a religion as much as a community. Nothing, because again, I lived in Wheatland. I didn't come to Yuba.
And not necessarily Sikhs, which is like Indian, East Indian in general.
Well, Wheatland, you got the gas station there, so I mean, there's a little.
I guess you got something there, yeah.
Yeah, that was the only.
Okay, so you're the all right. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
But it was definitely. I will say it was the first time I was learning about, so it was probably my 3rd or 4th experience.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And Rich, you don't know this, but I was for the first time I lost my virginity at 16. So I was like 17 and a half, 18 when this happened. So I was fresh learning about sex, circumcision, guys in general, and then having one guy who was huge where I got on top of him screaming bloody murder because he was stretching me and ripping me, to this small little Indian guy.
Sorry,
who was on the other side. It was not circumcised and in the same room. And it was just a very night and day difference with the 2 of them in the same room with the same side. So it was just like, plus being the first time, you don't know what you're supposed to do.
Well, I mean, if the cowboy knew that he was that big, he should have went last.
That was
That's not fair for the other guy. You're like, are you in yet? Oh yeah, I've been in for 5 minutes. You can't feel me.
That's exactly it. I was just like, knowing what I know now, I would have never put them together for your first 3. On top of it, first male, female, male.
Yeah.
3, and I was just like,
poor guy.
What was the non-white? I mean, Aladdin. Okay, I mean, that's his name.
Aladdin.
I mean, did he have a good time?
He did. They both had a great
So even
time.
though there was that discrepancy,
Yeah.
But what's crazy is the cowboy and I broke up shortly afterwards, and me and Aladdin stayed friends for a long time, and we had sex multiple times after that.
see, guys,
there you go.
if you're not huge, there's there's hope.
Oh, there's always hope.
Small guy finished last.
As I always say, it's not about your size, it's how you use it, but also how the connection goes with the use.
That's true. Most big swinging
I think
guys.
it's both women. Women want the play has a connection. The guys can be like, I don't care about the connection.
Exactly.
It's all about what you look
Hitting
like.
off.
And,
Exactly. Yeah.
Put a paper bag over your head, I'll still fuck you mentality. That's what most guys...
Yeah, girls are like, no, I want the connection. I want to feel it.
Well, I want the connection because I know if I don't have the connection with you, I'm not going to come. It's simple as that.
Right, it makes a better
I'm just gonna
experience
sit there
for
and be like, are you done? Are you done?
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, what's her point? If you're not going to come, then what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it.
You're a sex toy for somebody else?
With Aladdin, we hanged out for a long time. We
That's
stopped talking. I don't know for what reason. Again, it was in the 2000s.
You went off your campsite. That's why.
9/11. No, okay.
Your camera burned. Oh yeah.
I went into the army, came home, got married to my ex-husband, and then we were at Blockbuster. You know how you walk into Blockbuster, you go in and you go around the corner and you go all the way and you go out.
All the new releases, yeah.
Well, we're going this way and we go this way, and then they had the other rows right here.
Yeah,
The older stuff was here, and you go down the new releases.
VHS.
Walked around, yes. I was trying not to call us out, Rich.
Yeah. You were talking about Blockbuster, so I think you've already put that group.
Yeah, right.
I'm not trying to show our age again, Rich.
Right.
So I walked down this, and he walked this way, and he had a female with him and a couple kids.
Oh.
And I'm like, do you say something?
That's always the awkward thing, right? Yeah.
Like, you're in public now. And yes, this was years later. And now when I say years later, at least 2
Well, enough to have a family.
Yeah. And I'm just like, what do I do? And she's pregnant. And I'm like, and I'm with my current...
Just say your friends.
Well,
That's all I ever do. I'm like,
but
that's
that
our
was
friend.
the thing. I was like, because again, I'm the white girl. It goes back to what we're...
You went to school together. Big deal.
But I was like, do I say anything? Do I not?
I think your fear was you think it was going to automatically jump to the conclusion of that you guys
had sex.
So do you actually know his real name, or would you call him Aladdin in public? His wife's like, who calls you Aladdin?
No, everybody called him Aladdin. I mean, it was on the front of his car. You know how where you have
Oh,
the
yeah,
tent where
okay.
just with the visor? It came across as Aladdin. So everybody knows it was him.
All right.
And I even looked out in the window going, see if I see his car. Same thing. It said Aladdin. I'm like, oh, it really is him. And so I walked up and everything went like this, and he walked up and he was like, hey, and I was like, hey, oh, hey. I was like stupid and everything, and my husband, kept on walking, and he's a big guy. He's 374 pounds, so nobody's going to stop him.
He's a big guy.
And here's this tall, skinny Aladdin next to me. And we're talking. I was like, hey, how are you? He's like, good. And I was like, what's up with you? And I was like, oh, I'm married. That's my husband over there. And he's like, oh, that's my wife over there. That's my baby. And it was like 2. And I was like, So I felt like right after we got done, in a sense, he got her pregnant, and then they got married, and they're now pregnant with their baby too.
Well, that works out.
But either way, I was just like, this is weird.
It's sometimes awkward.
It was very weird.
Like we had a guest on here one time, I won't say who, but saw her at a different event, said hi, and walked right by.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
And I was like...
That's exactly what I was thinking about.
I was like, okay, well, whatever. I mean, I made my attempt, and if, it is what it is.
Yeah, I've run into the exact same guest at the gym, and it was like...
Never saw me before.
I'm like invisible.
And see, that's where I'm like... Even working in the medical field, I see patients all the time. So for me, I'm always like, hey, how's your knee? How's your shoulder? How's your hip? Yeah. And some people look at me and they go, and I'm like, and I take my hair down, I pull my hair down, and I'll put my hair up, and then they'll go, and I'm like, physical therapy, and yes, that's it. Or, they just... People don't want to associate with you outside of their bubble.
Or they don't recognize you because it's a different environment.
Exactly, that too.
So I was with my kids this weekend, and I was in Walmart. I had to go pick up something real quick, and then I come around the corner, and my kid's mom was there. And my daughter didn't even recognize her. I was like, oh, hey, what's going on? She thought it was just some random girl that I was talking to, because I always talk to different people that I know. And I'm like, And she's like, hey, so my kid's mom says hey to my daughter, and she's like, oh, hey, I didn't know that was you, Mom. Because she was like just zoning out because she thought I was just talking to some random girl, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, different environment, you don't expect stuff. But going back to the same person that we know, our former guest, I actually was on the phone with her recently. She reached out to me.
Yeah.
So she's now separating from her partner. That was a whole jealousy.
Now she'll say hi.
It was a jealousy thing. It was a control thing. He was like, do not talk to anyone who you've had an experience with. And that was his jealousy. You know, it can...
I didn't do anything with her.
Okay.
I didn't.
Oh. I thought you slapped her ass.
If that's an experience...
That's an experience. That may have... Yeah, but I don't think that would count as...
But again...
But to not even say hi to people? I mean...
I know. He was extremely jealous of people that she knew outside of him. And it was... Yeah, it was a big...
I mean, I get it. But at the same time, again, it's the same awkwardness. So it was like he goes... I'm not going to really introduce you to her. And I was like, okay. You know, it's like one of those things that's like, again, it goes back to the whole subject. Yeah, even in this scenario, it's like, how do you say hi to someone?
How good you managed her. She really enjoyed it.
Well, she had a different experience than I did.
But again, it's like...
She probably hasn't had many experiences.
I'm not sitting there going like, geez, you know, that one time I was like, that was amazing. You know,
that one time you manhandled me, man. Yeah.
I was like...
But it's the same thing. Like, if I ran into you in public, Rich, I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, Rich, there's no pimp. I'm not going to do that. That's just because that's not me.
She's going to call your name, Rich. And be like, keep going. Be like,
he's like, I don't know her.
Why is that woman calling you? I don't know. She's crazy. You know,
why would she have a different name?
People are weird, you know?
Yeah. I just look like a Rachel.
I must have a twin.
Yeah.
I look like that one from TV.
Yeah.
But again, that's the thing. Is like society, if you sleep with someone, and it's taboo in a sense. Like if you guys know if the other one's married, and this, I can't say hi to them. They're gonna freak out.
This is why every time I sleep with someone, I'm making sure that it's gonna be a good, positive experience. Like I'm not gonna just like do it just to do it. Like I want to make sure that when it's done, that we both go our separate ways. However we decide to do that, that we're both better for it. I don't want to be the guy that'd be like, that was fun. Like get the hell out of my house, you know? Like because it's a small enough town. I'm gonna run into these people again.
You are, but you're not at the same time.
Yeah.
That's the part that's creepy. It's like this town is so small. People do talk, but then you realize nobody really recognizes you. Like there's times where I'm just kind of like, oh, I hope nobody sees me because I really don't want him to see me. You know, I avoid certain parts of town just because I don't want to be seen. But at the same time, it's
guess what? You're being seen right now.
Hi. But again, it's just. Again, I think that's the society that people don't want to talk about is the after effect. After you have sex with someone, why do we have to close that door? Why can't we ever not pick up the phone and say, hey, how are you again? Is it really that awkward for a guy?
But it's hard because there's a lot of dynamics at play. So I have a beautiful wife who's very accepting and loving of me and my desires and my needs. But at the same time, there are certain people who...
She's very tolerant of you.
She's very, very tolerant of me.
Oh, I know that.
But there are also, at the same time, there are people that I have been with that she's just like, I would prefer you never to be with that person again. Even communication, texting, whatever, just I would prefer you never to contact that person again.
Well, I think if they're trying to, if this other person is trying to meddle in things that they shouldn't.
I agree. If someone's like trying to meddle or upgrade,
they're trying to upgrade or they're trying to game it. It's not just like, hey, how you doing? Period. It's like, hey, how you doing? Are you still miserable in your relationship? You know, and you're like, I never said that. You know, they're just like trying to egg things on. Then I think that's why people.
Or. This is like a tell on me. Is there have been times where the relationship might have been like not the best, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go over here because this person's showing me attention, and I would do that, and then you'd be like, well, you know what, fuck you for doing that, Ryan. I don't want you talking to that person ever again because you used that person as whatever, and it affected me in a certain way.
Well, for me as a female side of it, I can give you one of the things I did, and I know Ryan knows this. I added Sarah. I put Sarah on my Facebook, so there is no. He or she, she's trying to be in the middle of us. It's more of, I'm right here in front of you. That's a good way of doing it. Both.
Yeah.
I don't want, even when I came to the house, it was just like, hey, which one of you guys want to go first? Because I was giving them both massages.
Yeah, she was a massages. Yeah, that's right.
So I was like, who wants to go first? And it was like, keep the door open. I wasn't.
Yeah, very professional. Nothing like.
I didn't.
My audience knows I like.
But again, we joked about it, but nothing came out of it because, again, I respected their relationship. When we talk about anything that we do together, if I'm doing a massage with them or whatever, we put a joint, like I put a joint chat into it. I'm like, I'm not going to put anything where it's like, well, Ryan said, you know, everything I said about Ryan or Ryan said about me.
I think it's a fear of missing out. I mean,
it's the maturity on your part.
My wife's position is similar, where it's like, you know, I'll support whatever experiences, whatever you want to try. I just want to be left out of it.
Yeah,
and that's a fair excitement, and that's a beautiful, you know, expression.
Yeah, and I'm lucky to have that, but it takes a while for, I think, a lot of guys to like accept that, because they're like, well, you know, maybe she's not gonna like it. Maybe I'm gonna get shamed. Maybe it's, but I think if it's just like everything's out in the open, then there's no secrets, and I think that's why sometimes, you know, to your point, like why do people stop talking? I think it's when, you know, people are trying to have a secret or trying to do something that they know you're like, this is my boundary. I don't want to do that. You know.
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of these, you know, why can't we still be friends, goes down that road.
Well, hey there. My book, Healing, is now available, and I'm excited to share it with you. This book has been a labor of love. I have dedicated a lot of time and energy and effort into making sure that this is the best book possible to help you get through whatever challenges it is that you're experiencing. Healing is basically, it's about your journey as a female and the male's role. So basically, this book, the subtitle is Her Journey, His Role, How I Discovered the Hidden Power of Orgasm to Heal Trauma in Women.
I am really excited to talk about and endorse Ryan Nickel and Healed. But I have sexual assault trauma in my past, and so I knew that I needed a little bit of help. But in addition to that, I historically have a hard time reaching an orgasm. Ryan really took his time to talk to me and spend, you know, time going through some parts of my history, things I wanted to share, and then, you know, some exercises. I just felt just so relaxed and content. And then with my partner that evening, I was able to orgasm twice.
So a lot of this is what I've discovered over the years to work with women in healing trauma, releasing trapped emotions in the body, and allowing them basically to start over fresh, to have a fresh start, to not let any of the past haunt them as they're moving forward, because they have this energy stuck inside their heart that is preventing them from moving forward with their life. They're repeating these cycles over and over. They're finding new partners, same story, new characters, same thing. And this book helps break that. Whether it's working with me directly as a practitioner, or you taking this and the knowledge inside here and running with it on your own with your own partners, this book will show you exactly what I do and how to break that cycle. I'm offering for a limited time, as you may know or you may not know, I do book readings as well.
Hello, my name is Alice Lamana, and I was given an amazing food reading from Ryan last week, and it was the most amazing thing I've actually ever experienced.
I would highly recommend Ryan.
Oh my gosh, I highly recommend it.
Try it. See what happens. See what you find out about yourself.
My background is in social work. However, I do have a ToplessTalk show, and I've done over 1,500 readings. Your breasts change shape and size every single month. That has a lot to do with not only your hormones, but what's happening in real time with your relationship. And this book talks about that. It talks about how one breast is dedicated towards your friends and family, and the other one is towards your partners, and what each breast is telling you. I share with you what the biomarkers mean. However, what I'm offering for a limited time, I charge $50 for those readings. If you order this book and you send me proof, I will give you a reading at no cost. It can be done in person if you're in my local market, or like the hundreds of other women's that I've done. I do about 10 a day, and they're just done through a video or through a picture. You send me a picture, and I'll send you the instructions, and then I will record a 6 to 8 minute audio, and I will send that to you, and you can have your reading. My gift complimentary to you is just a way to say thank you for ordering this book. If you could take the extra step and you go ahead and you make a review on Amazon after ordering your book, and you show me proof that you have made a review for this book, I will then gift you a complimentary session. Currently right now my sessions are booked out at about 2 months in advance, and I charge $500 for one session. That price will be going up just because of the demand. However, as a way to say thank you for not only ordering this book, but also leaving a review, review, an honest review. I'm not asking for a 5-star review, just an honest review of what your thoughts were, what you took away from this book. I'll give you a complimentary session, $500 value, to work with me, as you'll see in this book exactly what that looks like, how that's helpful, what comes from that, and the benefits from it. So if this is something that is of interest to you, go ahead and grab my book. The link will be right here in the description, and I'll go ahead and give you, as a thank you, a complimentary book reading if that's something that you desire. And then if you give a review, I'll also give you a complimentary session. In the meantime, thank you for all the support, and I'm happy to get this into your hands.
Like I said, for me, anytime I have any connection with the couple, I always try to add the other half on there, so there is no question about it.
Right.
There's times where, like, even when I was texting you good morning, it was just me running my list of people saying good morning, and it wasn't any ill intent. It wasn't me trying to put myself a wedge between you guys. And I know Sarah was reading my messages, and that didn't bother me because I didn't say anything.
Oh no, absolutely
bad.
not. And she never had anything with you at all.
No.
Yeah.
What I'm just saying is, like, I knew she could respect that. And if she then turned around and she was like, "Hey Anna, you need to stop texting Ryan every morning. Like, this is getting," I'm like, "Okay, sorry." Like, I backed off, but it never came.
You and your can keep them to yourself.
Right. But again, it's like she knew the intent of why me and Ryan were talking, and then it became me and Ryan just talking to me and Ryan became friends, and then me and Sarah became friends. So it was never a boundary stopper because we all knew.
That's great.
The hidden rule of this is my wife, this is my husband, and I'm just. I don't want to say the side piece because I never was the side piece.
No, you offer professional services and stuff like that.
Exactly. We were friends, and she knew that about me. Like, even today, if you're like, "Hey, I'm going to meet up with Anna," she'd be like, "Oh, cool, tell her hi for me."
She did actually, by the way.
And that's exactly it.
So when you do that, I'm like, "Oh, Rich and I are doing a podcast with Anna." And she's like, "Oh, yeah."
No, but same thing. It's like, it goes back.
She's like, "Again, another one?"
Again, how many guys do I need to do with her? But again, that's the thing. That's on a female side, and that's why I call myself that unicorn level, is as a unicorn, you have to respect the couple and that boundary. You can't cross that line, and so many people do, as a guy as much as a female. If you're gonna come in there and try to wreck something, it's not good. You're blowing up not just your life, but you're blowing up their life.
And I think, like, if you would have asked me this before, like, I would have said, like, men are the culprit. Men are the ones that are going to push the boundaries and trying to get, whenever they can. It's equal. I've seen women that are doing just as, there's, I don't want to say it's 50-50 because I really don't know what it is, but there is, you have men just as well as women that are just,
Women are catty.
In it for themselves.
They are. And if they want something, they'll find a way to make it theirs. Yeah. Without even consciously trying. Like, for me, like, my intention has never been, and I think I said that was like one of the very first things I said to you, is like, my intention is not to be a wedge between you two.
I think some people are consciously doing
this
that.
Relationship.
Yeah.
If it goes,
and you can feel it too.
Yeah, your intentions, sound very, it's subconscious, but like I think a lot of females, it's a very conscious decision. They're going there going, I can't have that. I'm going to go get it.
Yes. And that is very vindictive and ugly. And I've been on the other side of it as someone who got broken up, and pretty much it was, she didn't want him to be with me anymore because he wasn't playing with other people with them anymore. And she got pissed that he wanted to spend more time with me than other couples that they were reaching out for him. Because she was like, "Well, are you going to go see Anna?" And he's like, "Well, yeah." And she's like, "So when are you going to be home?" And, because she would have Saturdays, he would have Sundays. And she'd come home at 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. And he's like, "Well, I got to leave to be with her." And then as soon as he would get up to me, he's like, "I got to call her." I'm like, "Okay." So he'd call her. "I'm here." And they did their normal check-in, and I was fine with that rule, because that was their rule, and that was accepting everything. Same thing. I had her on my socials because if she needed to talk to me, she could talk to me. And her and I had a lot of talk.
Are they still together?
From what I've heard, they're separated now.
Yeah, I would imagine being that controlling that relationship, that does not sound like a relationship.
Control never works.
Yeah.
I've heard through the grapevine from other couples and the swinging couples that they are definitely hit a hard patch. Yeah. And they got back together, and recently they're separate. And I kind of stalk him on social media just to see what's going on. But
are you waiting for him to be free again so you can, like, "Hey, come over"?
I don't think he will ever reach out to me again, because there's a couple times
because of the history there. What happened?
He pretty much told me when we were together was, if we ever can't be together, I'll tell you, and then we'll never have contact again. I'll block you, and I'll never hear from you again.
And that happened?
And that's what happened.
Oh.
We broke up. And I was just like, whoa, okay. I didn't think it was true.
Because of her?
And she blocked me way before him.
Mm.
So I was like, what the hell? And still,
You were the other woman.
Well, we saw each other on Sunday, and then we were supposed to meet up the following weekend because we were seeing each other every weekend. And
That's a lot.
Yeah, and we were. I was committed to him.
Yeah.
I wasn't with anybody else. I was just with him. And when I saw him on Sunday, he said, "Here, save your money for the hotel. Just go ahead and just buy your toys that we're gonna do." And I said, "Okay, if that's what you want." And he's like, "I'll pay for the hotel this one. You buy the toys. We'll see each other the following week." I said, "Okay." And then Monday we had a good morning. We talked. We did our normal morning talk because we talked every morning.
Mm.
When I was taking Mariah to school, he was taking kids to school, and he was driving to work. I talked to him.
Yeah.
And then he hung up the phone, and then Tuesday morning, I called him, didn't get an answer. By that afternoon, I got a message and says, "Hey, we need to break up." I said, "Oh, okay." He was like, "I hope you have a good life."
You broke up over text?
And I was like,
It's weak.
Yeah.
"Oh, okay." And then he told our mutual friend, he's like, "I wish I never had to break up with her the way I did, but I had to at that moment in time." And that's all he's ever said to her.
Yeah.
So Sarah was like, "Oh, this is what he said to me. Are you okay?" And I was like, "Well, I guess. I don't know what happened. Like, I still don't have closure." And that was my biggest thing. It's like, I don't have closure. Like, tell me why you're breaking up.
Yeah, when you don't have closure, it
why.
sucks. But at this point, like, if that was that's kind of a I'm sorry.
It was.
Yeah.
But that's part of the lifestyle. Is people don't talk about that.
I don't. That's a cop out. The lifestyle or not, like you're still an adult. You're having adult relationships with people. You can still treat people like with
Lifestyle
with
encourages you
respect.
to be more open, if anything.
Exactly, it does.
Well, that was the
open
thing.
and honest.
But remember, this was the beginning of me being in the lifestyle, so I just assumed that was a normal thing in the lifestyle because I was an outsider coming into a relationship.
No, I don't think it is because you
And
see.
now I was like,
it's it's a relatively small community, so you end up seeing a lot of people that lost different things. So like if that's how your attitude is, not yours, but I mean if that's how his attitude is, I mean it's going to catch up with you.
It's like, it's not going to work out for anyone long
term.
term.
You're like, oh, you did what? Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. Then I found out more and more this lifestyle is a smaller and smaller community,
Absolutely,
especially up here.
There's a lot of dysfunction in it as well.
There is a lot of dysfunction, and I think that's again that goes back to what we've always talked about: is no matter how much you look on the outside of things, here you are in the inside of things, and you just go, "Wow, why didn't I see that? Why is nobody talking about that? Why is this such a taboo subject? Why do we have to keep it in the bedroom? Why can't we talk about it in the kitchen? Why does it?"
I just don't think society is ready for it to be such mainstream like that, though.
I think it's slowly breaking through the seams, and more people are talking about it because more and more, if you say you're in the lifestyle, more people are like, "Oh, so am I," or "I know someone." It's like
Well, and there's websites you can see how many are in like our local area here. There are quite a bit. Yeah.
Well, I didn't realize, like, even like on Facebook when they're like, "Oh, you have 20 mutual friends," and I go through the mutual friends, and there's like this person, this person. I'm
They're all
like,
lifestyle friends.
Well, that's the thing. I'm sitting there going, "Hey, how do you know that person? Wait, you know that person too?" And there's a couple of times, like for us, I'm just like, "How do you know Ryan?" But I'm like kind of like dabbling. I'm like, "How do you know Ryan?"
Oh, he's a boob reader. He wrote my tits.
Jordan, Haskell.
Oh, real estate.
And so I went to high school with him and his brother.
So my daughter and his son do jiu-jitsu together. So I see him every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Yeah. So I've known Jordan since junior high.
He's not in the lifestyle.
No, but that was the first thing I was like,
You're like,
"Hey, Jordan," and he was like, "Hey, Anna, how are you?" You know, and I was just like, "Good," you know, and like I said, he knows me from junior high school, and I actually went.
Oh, you're hoping that he was in the lifestyle or what?
No, I was freaking out. I was like. He's like, I'm like, so
he's a good guy.
Yeah, and I was like, "How do you know Ryan?" And I was like, hoping he wasn't gonna turn at me. Like, "How do you know?" I'm like,
Yeah, no, I know him from real estate. Yeah, and now jiu-jitsu now.
And then later he told me it was real estate. I'm like, "Oh, thank God!" Like my whole chest was just like, "Oh, thank God!"
Yeah.
I don't have to tell him why I know him. But again, it was just like if he does. But I was just like, perfect.
I'm gonna send him this link.
He'd be like, "Anna, I did not know that about
fast
you."
forward to a minute to 1 hour and 49 minutes. Yeah.
That's when she showed her boob.
Yeah.
And he's like,
"I've been waiting all whole guys to see those." No.
We were never that way. But
No, I'm kidding.
His brother Brandon, I had a crush on through high school.
Oh, there you go.
I actually Brandon and I did an event we were in student government together, so we did an event together, and we got really close. Plus, his mom worked at the school, so everybody knew his mom. Like, it was just, but when you go to a school with 150 students, it's a small town thing. You get to know their parents, and their parents get to know you, and his parents got to know me. And then I found out his parents were divorced. I was like, wait, what? Wait, back up. Wait, huh? Like, your brother went into the Air Force? Wait, what? You know?
That's what happens, you know. We could talk for days here. I do want to be respectful of you because you said you had a hard stop because you have to get the chicken out of the oven.
Oh, beef.
Or beef. You have to get the food.
I think it's the beef.
Yeah, you have to get the food out of the oven. So, any parting words you want to leave with our audience? We've almost gone 2 hours here. This has been a beautiful
wow,
episode.
Again.
As I said, we could talk for hours.
I know. We always do.